Bakker. Thanks for coming back. We're going to talk about different things that can affect your gut health. So the question is, let's have a look at the question. The things that can help, that can cause harm to your gut health. That's what the question is. What are the things that can cause harm to your gut health? So I've written a couple of points down on paper here, and let's discuss those. So the gut is greatly aided by a diverse diet. I've spoken about this many times in my videos. So having a narrow diet or focusing the diet right down to only a small amount, of foods can really affect your gut microbial growth, significantly. Some people I've met over the years say, I only like carrots and peas. I don't like broccoli, Other people will eat a very diverse range of vegetables, whereas others will only eat 2 or 3. So you can imagine, how their gut microbiota will compare to people who have a very diverse diet. So from what I've been reading, where most people globally in Western countries only eat between about 12 to 15 different types of vegetables and probably consume about 4 or 5 different types of animals in terms of their protein. So they've got a narrow range. But if you look at people, indigenous peoples from Africa, they will eat a far more diverse range of plant species and therefore have a wider range of bacteria in their gut, conferring a lot of benefits. So it really pays not to have a narrow diet. All right? The lack of prebiotic foods in the diet is another key thing that many people don't have. Most people, in my opinion, don't eat yogurt or kefir or sauerkraut or kimchi or kombucha or any of those foods in their diet. That's the majority. Enlightened people now are starting to eat this way. But my grandparents ate like this for a long time. This is what normal people used to do, 50, 60 years ago. They ate like this. They didn't see this prebiotic foods. They saw it as a normal part of the diet. Now we see it as some special add-on kind of thing, The third one is alcohol. Alcohol really does affect the gut. But studies have shown, for example, that when you consume spirits like gin or vodka, you dramatically reduce the population of beneficial bacteria. But if you can stick with small quantities of red wine with a high polyphenol content, you'll actually increase the beneficial bacteria content. So not all alcohol is bad for the gut. It depends on the quantity, of course, if you have small amounts. But red wine is actually not so bad as many other, spirits and forms of alcohol. Antibiotic use, of course, it's not really good at all for the gut. Some people I see will go on antibiotics recurringly, once or twice a year for sore throats or urinary tract infections. And generally, these kind of infections can be fixed up by using natural methods quite effectively. Okay, I've raised 4 children without any antibiotics, and I'm sure that many other parents out there have done the same. You don't have to automatically jump into Cipro as soon as someone's got a little skin rash or a cut or a sore throat. I mean, herbs have been used for hundreds, if not thousands of years for these sorts of reasons. So go and see a naturopath or a doctor who's got an interest in natural medicine if you're interested in this area, because you don't need antibiotics every time you get some type of infection or cough. You don't need it, okay? This is one of the key things that destroys and undermines the gut function is the antibiotic. So if you can take it out the food chain, with chicken, don't eat commercial poultry, for example, which is known to contain antibiotics. If you take it out of the medicine, don't keep consuming these pills like the candy, your gut's going to be in a far better state. Right? Lack of activity. Exercise is shown to be very, very good. They did research with professional rugby players and found that they had a much larger amount of beneficial bacteria than men who were equally matched for weight and age, things like that. So the activity certainly does have a bearing on the gut. So if you're a person like me who does a tremendous amount of gardening or is outside a huge amount of times, or someone who does a lot of exercise, they'll probably have a better microbial balance than someone who's more infirm, sedentary, not interested in doing much. Right? Smoking definitely has an effect on the gut for many people, particularly people who are smoking quite a lot. So research has shown that those people are not only more prone to strokes, heart attacks, and and diseases like that, but they're also more prone to inflammatory bowel disease. So it can affect the gut adversely. Smokers have got a twice a high chance of getting Crohn's disease, for example, than non-smokers. Right? Not enough sleep. Not enough sleep is another key area that can be harmful for your gut. So sleep has shown when a person has the good diurnal rhythm of the day and the night cycle, they tend to have a far better balance of microbes and a good spread of the beneficial bacteria than people who don't have that at all. So plenty of studies I've looked at now support the fact that good sleep patterns come in line also with very good microbiome patterns. So people with disrupted sleep tend to have also not so good cortisol cycles. They get adrenal issues and thyroid issues, and they get appetite problems and all sorts of things. But you need to have good sleep patterns for good bowel function as well. All right. And stress, of course, which we've just touched on now, is the last point. So stress, of course, is going to cause elevations of cortisol and insulin and also leptin and other hormones that can really mess up the gut and create lots of inappropriate messages there from the brain to the gut regarding eating. Drugs can cause this too, but stress causes it just as well. So it's also shown through research that people who have a low stress lifestyle and are not personally stressed all the time don't tend to have these issues with their gut and food that people who are stressed do have. So try and think about those points that we've spoken about there, because it could make a big difference for you. Don't have the diet too narrow. Make sure you include some prebiotic foods into your diet. Alcohol, it really undermines the gut. Antibiotic use, well, that just trashes the gut. Lack of activity, try and be active or do something on a daily basis. Smoking, well, those people need beating around the head with a soft rubber hammer, okay? Not enough sleep can really affect the gut, and stress. I hope you got something out of that, and it's going to help you in your life. Don't forget, if you want my free report, click on the link below. Thanks for tuning in.